Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to another episode on our great channel. I'm your anchor man. My name remains Mr. Equity Man, and I've said it again and again that he that comes to equity should come with clean hands. We say if there is equity in Nigeria, there won't be need for the killings, there won't be need for the infighting, there won't be need for the agitation and the breakaways. Having said all of that, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to share with us um, a very important information, a very important news. The title of the news is Ruga. They want to take our land, and this is coming from no other than Fani-Kayode. Before I read the news proper, I want to encourage us, ladies and gentlemen, to go ahead and subscribe if you're yet to do so. Go ahead now, press the red button below. When you subscribe, you'll be among the first to get notified whenever I upload such important informations. I haven't said that again. Like I said, the title of the story I want to read out to us is Ruga. They want to take our land. Fani-Kayode. Okay, it starts like this. Say first it was political Sharia, then Islamic Boko Haram, then terrorist Fulani herdsmen, and now Ruga cow settlement. Nigeria has become the biggest shithole on the African continent. We are like an empty public toilet that has never been flushed. Everything about our country stinks. The Buhari administration has said they want to establish Ruga settlement all over the country for the Fulani and their cows. My question to them is as follows. Is cattle business government business? They have taken everything from us, our nation, our dignity, our identity, our future, our self-respect, our destiny, our lives, our liberty, our faith, our hope, our resources, our substance, and so much more. And now they want to take away our land. Well, I have news for them. This will not happen without a fight. It can only happen over our dead bodies. The gloves are now off. The gloves are off now, and they have brazenly bearing their fangs. Ours is a government and a nation of the Fulani, by the Fulani and for the Fulani. This is an incontrovertible and indisputable fact. It is self-evident. More importantly, it raises a number of fundamental questions about our supposed unity and so-called nationhood. Are we really one nation? Were we ever one country? Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the premier of the western region of Nigeria, raised this question in his famous book, Paths to Nigerian Freedom, as far back as 1947, and his answer was then a resounding no. 72 years later, I have to say that I agree with him and that he has been vindicated. Nigeria is not one nation, and I do not believe that we ever were. We are just pretending and lying to one another, publicly professing love but secretly hating. Whichever way you see it, the following deeply profound and philosophical question must be answered. What does a compassionate, gentle, refined, beautiful, recent, and kind-hearted bird like flamingo have in common with an aggressive, repugnant, violent, greedy, loud, flesh-eating, and ugly winged beast and bestial creature like a crow? What does a peacock have in common with a vulture? What does a kiwi have in common with an ostrich? What does a pigeon have in common with a quail? What does the noble, courageous, and regal eagle have in common with a heartless chicken? A singing partridge, a humming pigeon, a red robin, and a cage and chirping bogaja, or a cuckoo out of hell? And what do a refined, civilized, noble, and well-educated people have in common with ignorant savages and bloodthirsty barbarians? We follow best and we follow best and fellowship with understanding and commonality of purpose when we do so with our own. And when I speak about our own, I'm not necessarily referring to those that are from the same race or share the same religious faith as we do, but rather those that share our values, standards, ethics, etiquette, heritage, culture, and civilized worldwide. Anything less is clumsy and often dangerous attempts to have fellowship between light and darkness, which always end in catastrophe and chaos, and which is expressly forbidden in the Holy Scriptures and by the Word of God. They say birds of a feather flock together. It follows that anything and everything that falls short of that is a match made in hell. And it is in the bird and animal kingdom, so it is in the world of independent countries and sovereign nations and in the land of men. Strange bedfellows coupled together against their will never excel, and rarely can they find happiness or no peace. It is for this reason that many stand against the concept of the hybrid mongrel state and man-made artificial contraption that the disciples and prophets of globalization seek to establish, endangered and foster on an increasingly skeptical world. The Lord Guardian formula of a forced union and amalgamation of ethnic, incompatible and different and conflicting race, religion and cultures in one nation, superstratum always result in a depressed, decaying and dysfunctional nation where mutual respect, love and trust has no place. Permit me to be specific. Let us consider Great Britain. I believe that Brexit is the best thing for the United Kingdom, and that's why I support my old friend Boris Johnson for the position of Prime Minister. I do not see anything wrong in people trying to take their country back from foreigners and aliens. Again, I do not see anything wrong in rejecting a model, association, or system of government which takes your identity, power, self-respect, and dignity away from you and allows your nation to be controlled and your fate and destiny to be determined by a small group of unelected faceless officials and technocrats who reside at the heart of the European Union in Brussels. A people and a nation ought to control their own destiny and not concede that right to others. And of course, this is what we need to do in Nigeria. We must take control of our destiny, free our people from bondage and slavery, and wrestle control and power back from those who worship cows, who live by the sword, who relish in shedding blood, and who came to our land from distant shores. We must send them back to Guinea, Mali, Niger Republic, Chad, and Futajalo, where they originally came from. We must get our country back. Failing that, we must march out of this illicit, godless, accused, and unsolicited forced union and establish our own nation. The concept of multiracial, multicultural, hybrid, mongrel nation has failed in Nigeria and resulted in nothing but fulanization and Islamization. We cannot bear it any longer, and neither should we have to. The British that forced it upon us long ago has put us in this unworkable, evil contraption without even consulting us, have themselves rejected the concept of multiracial and multicultural society and are no longer prepared to accept it in their shores. Brexit presents an eloquent testimony that, and there is plenty more to say. There's plenty more to come. You can call me xenophobic, racist, nativist, or tribalist. I do not care. I am proud of my history, culture, heritage, racial stock, religious faith, and who and what I am. I can trace my bloodlines and lineage back to 5 generations, and that is deeply gratifying and inspiring to me. It is from there and the Spirit of God that I draw my strength. I know the values and virtues that my forefathers cherished, fought for, and lived by, and I tend to inculcate such values and virtues in each of my sons and daughters. You cannot expect me to jettison all that in the name of misguided liberalism, leftish dogma, and political correctness. You cannot compel me to accept your vain notion of multiracial melting point where my racial and religious identity is sacrificed on the altar of one Nigeria. For the last 59 years of our existence as a nation, we have tried to live together in peace with those that consider us as nothing but vessels, subjects and slaves, and that regard themselves as being divinely ordained and born to rule, and it has been disastrous. When this notion was forcefully and legitimately challenged in 1967 by a proud, strong, and noble people with an irrepressible Republican and Christian heritage known as the Biafrans, it led to a barbaric civil war and a genocide and ethnic cleansing of 3 million of their civilian population, including 1 million children who were starved to death. And since then, millions more from all over the country have been maimed, disfigured, and slaughtered by those that felt that they have the right to rule over us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the story. I want you to leave your comment below. You have heard it all from Fani-Kayode, who says that the Ruga system of the federal government is an attempt to take away our land. We must protect our land. We must not give away our land. These are our natural heritage, and these are our identities. We want to use this opportunity to call on Muhammad Buhari to stop every attempt to forcefully take land from states for the fulani herdsmen settlement in whatever disguise, whether they call it the cattle colony or they call it the grazing reserve or they call it Ruga. Whatever name it is called, Nigerians as a people say no. Nigerians reject this in its totality. And we say that the government derives its power from the government. If the government derives its power from the government should listen to the people. The Fulani herdsmen are not the only population in Nigeria. The Fulani herdsmen are just, they are even in minority in the population of Nigeria. So let's do the right thing and save this great country the impending catastrophe that is about to befall us. Ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't know what your own take on this is, but I want to encourage you to put your comment below and subscribe to the channel and then share with your friends. Thank you very much.